the allegory of the plant. Imagine, Glaucon, that four friends awaken, cast upon the shore of a strange island. The sea has delivered them there, yet they know not whence they came, nor how they might leave. Before them stands an old man, clad in a robe woven from vines. In his hands he bears a small potted plant, delicate and trembling in the ocean breeze. This, he tells them, is both your burden and your salvation. Carry it to the summit of the mountain at the island's heart. But beware, for should it perish, your fate is sealed, and you shall never leave this place. The old man then gives each of them a clay vessel, empty yet strong. You must find water, he says, for the plant must drink. But the island is full of trials, and your thirst will not be the only claim upon your supply. And with that, he vanishes, leaving them alone with their charge. Now tell me, Glaucon, what do you suppose they will do?
Surely, Socrates, they will set out in search of water for themselves and for the plant, lest they perish.
And indeed they do. At first, the journey is simple. The lowlands of the island abound with fresh streams, and they fill their vessels gladly, drinking deeply and giving to the plant as needed. Their task seems light, and they believe themselves equal to it. But as they press onward, the water grows scarce, and the island begins to tempt them. First, they encounter a great stone tablet, half buried in the earth, its carvings worn by time. Upon it is an inscription, "Let water reveal what is hidden." One among them, enamored with wealth and mystery, pours out a portion of his vessel upon the stone. The markings glow, and a map appears, leading to a hidden treasure deep within the jungle. Now consider, Glaucon, what effect does this have upon him?
He is filled with greed, I imagine, now willing to trade his water for the promise of riches.
Precisely. And thus, he begins to ration not for the plant's sake, but for his own desires, convinced that what he seeks will justify his use. Each time he drinks, he thinks of gold. Each time he waters the plant, he hesitates. And so, though he continues the journey, he walks it with a divided purpose, and his burden grows heavier. Further along, another friend finds a fire serpent, a creature seething with flame. He is filled with zeal and takes great pleasure in battle, and though the serpent might be avoided, he wastes his water to engage it, dousing it with reckless abandon. What do you make of this, Glaucon?
He seeks glory, I think, but at great cost. He values the fight over the mission.
Yes, and though his courage is admirable, it is misplaced. He becomes as a man who draws his sword at every shadow, never pausing to ask whether the battle is necessary. And so, his vessel runs dry long before the journey is over. But consider the other two, prudent and measured. They see the same trials, yet they do not pour away their water for the promise of treasure, nor do they waste it in needless conflict. They drink only as needed and give to the plant in due measure. When a fire serpent threatens them, they spend only the water that is required, choosing the path of wisdom over vanity. Now tell me, Glaucon, as they near the summit and water grows scarce, what fate awaits them all?
I see it clearly, Socrates. The one who wasted his water on treasure will find himself parched, with no more to give to the plant. The one who spent his on battle will likewise falter, having exhausted his supply long before the journey's end. Only those who were prudent will still have enough to complete their task.
Just so, when they reach the mountain's peak, the plant is weak, its leaves curling. The reckless ones now turn to their prudent companions and beg for water. But here lies the final test, for if the prudent give too freely, they may not have enough to sustain the plant themselves. What should they do, Glaucon?
I do not know, Socrates. Should they refuse, they are cruel. But if they give, they may all be lost.
A hard choice, indeed. And yet, it is the same choice every man must make in life. Shall he spend all he has upon others, only to find himself empty when it matters most? Or shall he hoard his gifts so jealously that he forgets the purpose for which they were given? But see now the island's final lesson. When the prudent ones at last pour the last of their water upon the plant, rather than upon themselves or their foolish companions, the clouds part, and a hidden spring is revealed at the mountain's peak. The island had concealed its greatest gift until they had proven themselves worthy. The plant is restored, full and strong, and then a great wind rises and a voice speaks.
You have learned the lesson of water. Only in wisdom is the journey completed. Only in temperance is the summit reached. Only in selflessness is the way home revealed.
And at once the sea stretches before them, their path home restored. Tell me, Glaucon, what do you see in this?
I see that water is as virtue. If spent foolishly, it is lost. If hoarded for selfish gain, it serves no purpose. But if given wisely, at the right time and for the right reason, it leads all to the highest heights.
Just so. And consider also that each man carries his own vessel, just as each man carries his own soul. No one may force another to use his water rightly. Each must choose for himself. Some will squander it on treasure, mistaking wealth for wisdom. Others will waste it on battle, believing all struggle to be noble. But the wise will keep their vessel steady, drinking when needed, giving where it matters most, and never losing sight of the true purpose of the journey. And tell me, Glaucon, is it not the same with knowledge, with justice, with love itself? If used recklessly, it is exhausted. If clutched too tightly, it withers. But when spent with wisdom, in the service of a greater goal, it leads all men to freedom.